China has always been showing one surprise after another in the world of technology. But now, some of their innovations seem to be making the story of the future a reality. Vehicles that we have only seen in sci-fi movies a few days ago. Cars flying in the sky, taxis running without a driver, SUVs floating on water. Although it may sound incredible, many of these are now at the stage of real testing. So the question is, are we really moving towards a future where our vehicles will run in the sky as well as on the road? Let's take a look at some technologies that could change the face of the future transportation system. Skytrain suspended in the sky. Imagine sitting on a train that is not on the ground, but rather suspended high above it. China's Skytrain technology brings forward just such an idea. This train looks like something out of a futuristic sci-fi vehicle. It can carry around 200 passengers at a time and can travel at speeds of around 60 kilometers per hour. Its biggest advantage is that the train does not occupy the above-ground road. As a result, the space below can be used to build parks, roads, or other infrastructure. In other words, a new transportation system is being built upstream in the same city, while the space below remains usable, reducing city traffic congestion, efficient use of space, and the future of public transportation. All in all, the Skytrain could truly be a new chapter in urban transportation. When the car flies in the sky. Now let's come to a technology that is perhaps going to be the most talked about vehicle of the future, the flying car. China's XPeng's X3 flying car concept shows how the same vehicle can operate on both the road and the sky. On the road, it will drive like a normal electric car, but if necessary, it can take off vertically using its flying module. The ability to travel at speeds of around 130 kilometers per hour in the sky and the technology to stay in the air for a limited time make it truly different. That means the same vehicle, the same journey, the air route will only begin when the road ends. However, this technology has not yet reached the stage of widespread use. Safety, regulations, and infrastructure, everything needs to be in place to actually launch such vehicles into the city skies. Drone taxis will fly without drivers. Just imagine, you no longer have to sit in traffic for hours on end to get from one end of the city to the other. You got into a small aircraft, set your destination, and it took you through the air on its own. Passenger eVTOLs or drone taxis like China's EHang 216-S are talking about exactly this future. It can seat 2 passengers and can move vertically using an electric motor. The most surprising thing is that such vehicles are being developed to operate automatically. This means that in the future, passengers may not need to be pilots themselves. But safety is paramount here too. To operate hundreds of autonomous vehicles in the sky, strict controls, reliable communication systems, and technology to ensure safe landings in emergency situations are essential. From the road to the sky, the flying car. Now imagine that you are driving. There is a heavy traffic jam ahead. There is no way to get through the road. Just then, the flying part of your car activated, and the car left the road and took off into the sky. Various flying car manufacturers are trying to make this idea a reality. Some models have folding wings that open when needed, while others are being developed with the goal of fully automatic takeoff and landing. But as exciting as this technology is, its practical application is equally challenging, because driving cars in the sky requires more than just good technology. It requires a completely new type of traffic management. Lazarus LMV496. Now let's talk about a vehicle that really makes you feel like you're standing on the set of a sci-fi movie. Flying motorbikes like the Lazarus LMV496 can drive like motorbikes on the ground and can also take to the air with special arrangements. Its design uses an engine that gives the bike the ability to climb vertically. That means one moment you are on the road and the next moment your vehicle turns into a personal flying vehicle. However, it is not yet intended for everyday transportation for the general public. Due to limited production, extremely high price, and various safety issues, it is mainly known as a dazzling showcase of future technology. Private air taxi. Not just for the rich, in the future, ordinary people may also be able to travel short distances by air. Companies like EHang, as well as various manufacturers, are developing small-scale eVTOLs, or personal flying vehicles. These vehicles are usually electrically powered and can hover vertically. Imagine, instead of staring at the traffic jam on your way to the office in the morning, you set your destination, and a small air taxi took you over the city. Although it sounds like a futuristic story, the technology is slowly moving from the experimental stage to real use. Driverless robotaxi. Now let's return from the sky to the road. However, there may be no one in the driver's seat of this road car in the future. A robotaxi is an autonomous vehicle that can navigate its own path using sensors, cameras, radar, and software. Some robotaxis are being designed to have very little difference between the front and rear of the vehicle, making it easier to maneuver on narrow streets or in confined spaces. Imagine you got in the car, set the destination, and the car itself took you there. This could reduce reliance on private cars, create opportunities to reduce the risk of accidents, and make the city's transportation system smarter. But here too, the big question is, if an automated car makes a mistake, who is responsible? The answer to this question may determine the future of robotaxis. Luxury house floating on water. Now let's talk about an innovation that could change the concept of transportation as well as living. A floating home like the Arcup 75 is essentially a luxury villa built on water. This large floating home features modern living arrangements, solar panels, and rainwater harvesting technology. This means that it can create the opportunity for a lot of off-grid living if desired. The most interesting thing is its hydraulic leg system, which helps keep the house stable on the water. Imagine there are no roads around your house, only water all around. Perhaps in the future, floating housing may become more important due to issues such as climate change and sea level rise. Final thoughts. Looking at these technologies from China, it really seems like we are moving towards a future where the very definition of transportation will change. The future is not too far away. Maybe one morning we will wake up and see that not only are birds flying in the sky, but our cars are flying too.